A man is in custody after police say he shot and killed his girlfriend's two brothers. This happened after an argument escalated into a shooting. CBS News Miami's Maribel Rodriguez is your reporter in Miami with what neighbors are saying about this.
Two brothers walked into an apartment to save their sister. Neither one walked out alive. Let that sink in for a second. Gianni Pierre, 28 years old, and his younger brother Jaheim, just 23, drove to their sister's apartment in Liberty City, Miami on May 2nd, 2026, because they were worried about her. That's it. That was the whole reason. They weren't looking for trouble. They weren't trying to start anything. They were brothers who loved their sister and couldn't sit back knowing she was in danger. And for simply showing up, both of them lost their lives. This is the kind of story that stops you cold. Because it didn't have to end this way. It should never have ended this way. But here we are, before we get into everything that happened inside that apartment. If you are new here, welcome to Shadow Crime. And if you've been rocking with us, you already know what we do here. We don't let these stories get buried. We don't let these victims become just another headline that disappears in 48 hours. So if this is your first time, hit that subscribe button right now, smash the like button, and make sure you click that bell icon so you never miss when we drop. This community keeps these stories alive, and we need you in it. Now, let's talk about what was really going on in that apartment long before May 2nd ever came. The sister, whose name authorities have kept out of public reporting specifically because she is considered a victim of domestic violence, had been in a relationship with a man named Antwan Carter for 4 years. For years. And according to police, that relationship had a history of domestic violence. This wasn't a one-time argument. This wasn't a couple having a rough patch. This was a pattern. A woman who had been living inside that pattern for years, and two brothers who had been watching from the outside, worried sick about her. Antwan Carter was 31 years old. He and his girlfriend shared that apartment on Northwest 17th Avenue in Liberty City. And by all accounts, he had made himself the center of her world in the way that controlling, abusive partners do, slowly, quietly, until the people who love the victim start feeling like the problem just for trying to stay close to her. Gianni and Jaheim Pierre were not the problem. They were the solution their sister never got the chance to fully receive. When they showed up that Saturday afternoon, they weren't coming in swinging. They came because they cared. And what started as a tense but manageable situation, brothers checking on their sister, words exchanged with her boyfriend, was about to be turned into a massacre by a man who decided that his pride mattered more than two human lives.
A man is in custody after police say he shot and killed his girlfriend's two brothers. This happened after an argument escalated into a shooting. CBS News Miami's Maribel Rodriguez is your reporter in Miami with what neighbors are saying about this.
Woke from dead sleep. 5 gunshots. Pow, 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 pow. And then the door slammed underneath my balcony.
That's what Gina Kirk said she heard Saturday morning coming from a neighbor's apartment at 5329 Northwest 17th Avenue.
Good morning, Mr. Carter.
According to police, it was this man, 31-year-old Antwan Carter, who fired the shots. When officials arrived to this building in Miami, they found 2 men in their 20s shot multiple times inside one of the apartments. One of them was dead. The other died at the hospital.
There's probable cause for the charges. It looks like he shot and killed a girlfriend's 2 brothers.
Police say Carter's girlfriend's brothers went to check up on her and when they arrived, got into a fight with Carter. According to investigators, they found Carter outside the building who told them, quote, "I am the one," and the gun was found in his pocket. Carter was taken into custody and appeared in bond court on Monday.
I'm going to grant the state's motion for pretrial detention pending final hearing and hold you with no bond.
And Carter is being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, and according to police, he does have a history of domestic violence. In Miami, Maribel Rodriguez, CBS News, Miami.
The argument inside that apartment escalated fast. Jaheim and Carter got into it verbally first, and then it turned physical, both Gianni and Jaheim getting into it with Carter. The sister, seeing things spiral out of control, made a decision to step outside and asked a neighbor to call the police. She was trying to de-escalate. She was trying to get help before something irreversible happened. But by the time she came back, Carter was already gone. Now here's where I need you to pay close attention, because this is the part that changes everything about how we understand what happened next. Carter leaving was not him cooling down. Carter leaving was not him walking away from the situation. Carter walked out of that apartment, went straight to his car, and according to surveillance footage that police reviewed during their investigation, he reached into his car, grabbed an unknown object, and put it into his right pocket. Then he walked back to the building. He went to get the gun. Think about that for a moment. The fight was already over. He had left. The brothers were inside. The door was locked. The sister had even locked it behind her when she came back in, specifically because Carter was gone and she thought the worst was behind them. She actually told her brothers not to open the door when she heard the banging. She knew something was wrong. She felt it, but Jaheim opened the door anyway. Maybe he thought Carter just wanted to talk. Maybe he thought he could handle whatever came next. We will never know exactly what was going through his mind in that moment. What we do know is that the second that door opened, Carter charged him with his hand already reaching into his front right pocket, and then the neighbors heard it. 5 gunshots ringing out back to back, tearing through that apartment, while a woman screamed from inside. Johnny never even had a chance to react. He was sitting on the couch when the bullets hit him. He didn't lunge at Carter. He wasn't in a fighting stance. He was just sitting there, and Carter shot him where he sat. Jaheim, in his final moments, did the most heartbreaking thing you could imagine. He ran toward his sister. Not toward the door, not away from Carter. Toward her. He was still trying to protect her, even as the bullets were finding him. He collapsed on top of her, bleeding out, his last instinct being to shield the very person he came there to save. And do you know what Carter did after shooting both of them? He sat down on the edge of the bed, looked at his girlfriend, who was now underneath her dying brother, covered in blood, and said, "See what you made me do." Not a single ounce of remorse. Not panic. Not shock. Just blame. Transferring every ounce of responsibility onto the woman, who had already survived years of his abuse, as if she pulled the trigger herself. That one sentence tells you everything you need to know about who Antwan Carter is.
A stunning development in a double murder after 2 brothers were found gunned down in a home. Our crime specialist Bridget Matters live in Miami with the arrest made. Bridget.
Louis, really tragic. According to police, there was some sort of altercation between those 2 brothers and the suspect. It all happened here at this apartment building on the 2nd floor. Those 2 men are dead and an arrest has been made. Miami police investigating a double homicide in the Liberty City neighborhood. 2 brothers, Jaheim and Gianni Pierre, were shot and killed May 2nd at this apartment building off Northwest 17th Avenue. Audio from dispatch says a caller reported 6 shots fired and a woman reporting her brother was shot.
Miami, I made contact with a female, said that her brother shot on the 2nd floor.
An arrest form says while detectives were investigating, a man approached and said, quote, "I'm the one. I have the firearm." Police arrested 31-year-old Antwan Carter, who they say had a gun in his pocket. The report says CCTV footage shows Carter yelling and banging on an apartment door. When it opens, quote, Carter then charged into the apartment as he reached into his front right pocket. Immediately after, several gunshots were heard. A woman then ran out bloodied. That woman told police Carter was her boyfriend who shot her brothers. That suspect remains in jail. He's facing 2 first-degree murder charges. In Miami, Bridget Matter, Local 10 News.
Bridget.
The sister ran out of that apartment barefoot. No shoes, no plan, just survival instinct pushing her through that door and out into the street while her brothers lay dying behind her. When police arrived on the scene, they found her with her feet and her clothes soaked in her brother's blood. That image alone should tell you everything about the kind of terror that woman lived through in those few minutes. And where was Carter? He was outside, pacing, calm enough to be pacing. And when an officer approached him, Carter didn't run, didn't deny it, didn't try to construct a story on the spot. He looked at the officer and said, "I am the one. I have the firearm." Then he reached into his right pocket and handed over a 9mm Glock 43, the same gun he had retrieved from his car with full intention before walking back into that apartment. Now, Carter did eventually try to spin a version of events when detectives sat down with him. He claimed he had only left the apartment to put candy in his car and get some fresh air. He said when he came back, He saw the brothers standing with their fists up, ready to fight, and that he fired in self-defense. But here's the problem with that story. The surveillance footage already existed. It had already been reviewed. It showed him walking to his car, grabbing something, putting it in his pocket, and returning to the building with purpose. There was no hesitation, no fresh air. He went to that car for one reason. Jaheim Pierre was pronounced dead at the scene. Gianni Pierre was rushed to the Ryder Trauma Center at Jackson Memorial Hospital in critical condition, and he died minutes after arriving. 2 brothers. Same day, same apartment, same man. When Carter appeared in bond court that Monday, Judge Mindy Glazer did not mince words. She looked at the fact in front of her and said, "There's probable cause for the charges. It looks like he shot and killed his girlfriend's 2 brothers." No bond was granted. Carter sits in custody right now facing 2 counts of first-degree murder, and prosecutors have made clear that the death penalty is on the table. But here is what I keep coming back to, and I want you to sit with this too. That woman lost both of her brothers in the same afternoon. The 2 people who loved her enough to show up when she needed them most were taken from her by the same man she had been trying to survive. She will carry Jaheim collapsing on top of her for the rest of her life. She will carry Carter's voice saying, "See what you made me do," for the rest of her life. And the cruelest part is that abusers always make sure the victim is left holding the weight of everything. So I want to ask you something directly. How many people right now are in situations just like this sister was? Trapped, watched, controlled. And the only people who see it clearly are the ones on the outside looking in. How many brothers, sisters, friends have that gut feeling that something is wrong, but don't know what to do with it? And what does it say about the nature of this kind of violence that a man can shoot 2 people, hand over the weapon, and in the same breath find a way to make it someone else's fault? Gianni Pierre and Jaheim Pierre came to that apartment out of love. That is the only truth that matters in the end. If this story moved you, if it made you feel something, do not let it just scroll past. Hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you are not subscribed to Shadow Crime yet, now is the time. Every view, every share, every comment keeps stories like this one from being forgotten. These brothers deserve better. The least we can do is make sure people know their names.